Welcome to today's deep dive. And well, I have a quick question for you listening right now. What if, the absolute most profitable person on your favorite social media app hasn't actually shown their face to the public in 3 years?
That is such a wild concept to start with,
Uh,
because it really goes against everything we're taught, right?
it totally does. I mean, whenever we think about making a living online today, there's this almost mandatory, exhausting image that just immediately comes to mind.
Oh, the standard influencer lifestyle.
Right, exactly. The influencer. It's that person waking up at like 6 in the morning, filming their artisanal matcha latte, pointing at floating text on a screen, and practically begging the algorithm for views.
Yeah, and the underlying message there is always that your personality is your product, which is, frankly, a relentless performance.
It really is.
And it's an endless one, too, because, the moment you step off that stage, the attention just vanishes, and then the revenue dries up right along with it.
Which is just a terrifying way to live. Like, if you ever stop performing, if you get sick, or I don't know, if you just want to take a vacation or you don't feel like smiling for the camera today, the algorithm actively punishes you.
It does. It absolutely tanks your reach.
So our mission for this deep dive is to explore a blueprint that completely shatters that whole assumption. We are looking at how to build a highly profitable online empire completely from scratch without ever showing your face on camera.
And without playing that exhausting influencer game, which I think is the most appealing part for a lot of people.
Yes, exactly. So we're pulling all of this from a really comprehensive guide we have. It's titled Build a Faceless Digital Business for Automated Income. And it's written by an author who goes by Chillstar '08.
And her background is actually super interesting.
Oh, I love her background. She proudly identifies as a wife, a mom, a grandmother, and a travel lifestyle coach. So, okay, let's unpack this because this entire concept just flips standard hustle culture advice totally upside down.
Well, what's fascinating here is the core structural shift the author is really advocating for. We're moving entirely away from uh, a personality-driven business model to a system-driven architectural model.
Right, from personality to architecture.
Exactly. The source text basically argues that the dominant narrative, the idea that you must share your personal life and become this internet celebrity to succeed, it's just neither scalable nor sustainable.
Not for most people, anyway.
Right. Especially not for people who value their privacy, their focus, and frankly, their long-term stability. You are essentially swapping the role of an entertainer for the role of an architect.
I really like that framing. But, before we get into the actual technical how-to of building this unseen machine, I feel like we really need to look at exactly why someone would want a faceless business in the first place.
Yeah, and what that actually looks like in practice.
Because I think a lot of people, they hear the word faceless and they immediately picture something shady or anonymous or almost like covert.
And that's a very common misconception that we definitely need to clear up immediately.
Mm-hmm.
The source actually defines a faceless digital business very clearly.
How so?
Well, it's an operation where the brand, the content, and the offers stand entirely on their own merit.
Hmm.
Like it does not rely on your personal identity to validate it.
Okay, so it's not about hiding. It's about building a standalone entity.
Exactly. Customers are interacting with a distinct brand entity. They're discovering your offers through search engines, through targeted ads, and through partnerships.
Right.
They are not discovering you because you went live on social media for 3 hours and trauma dumped to an audience.
Oh, man. Yeah. I was actually thinking about this while going through the notes, and it feels like the difference between a street performer and a vending machine.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Right. Like
Yeah.
the traditional influencer is the street performer. You have to be out there on the sidewalk dancing, singing, making eye contact, just really hoping people drop a dollar in the hat.
And if you go home, the money stops.
Exactly. But a faceless business, that's a vending machine. You build it, you stock it, you put it in an area with really high foot traffic, and it just works.
People just walk up and get what they need.
Right. And you collect the revenue whether you're standing right next to the machine or, sleeping in your bed.
That analogy perfectly captures the shift from active performance to passive asset management. I mean, you're building an ecosystem where value flows to the customer and revenue flows to you, completely independent of your daily visibility.
Because the vending machine doesn't need to smile at the customer to dispense the soda.
Exactly. It just has to work.
I hear that, but I have to push back here. because I'm looking at my own buying habits, and I almost always buy from creators I trust. Like, I follow their lives, I know their stories.
Sure, the parasocial relationship.
Right. If I don't know who is behind the screen, why on earth would I hand over my credit card? I mean, the oldest rule in sales is that people buy from people, right? How does a faceless brand build that necessary trust with a buyer without, well, a human connection?
It's a highly intuitive pushback.
Sure.
Really, it is. But the text explicitly counters this assumption by asking us to look at how we purchase utilities versus how we purchase entertainment.
Oh, interesting. Utilities versus entertainment.
Yeah. The reality is that most customers actually care far more about their own problems and finding solutions to those problems than they care about who delivers the solution.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Trust isn't necessarily built through a smiling selfie. Trust is built through utility, absolute clarity, and a hyper-reliable experience.
So it's about the results, not the person.
Think about the software you use for work, or like the platform you use to buy groceries. You likely have zero idea who the CEO is or who wrote the product description on that page.
That's true. I definitely don't.
But you trust the platform because the system works flawlessly every single time. So when you prioritize structural reliability over human personality, you can achieve genuine digital freedom.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. We're replacing the volatile human element with a rock-solid, reliable experience. But, if personality and a human face aren't driving the engine of this business, what actually makes it run?
We need to look at what replaces you.
Right. And the author breaks this down into 3 pillars that power this entirely unseen machine.
Yeah, moving from the underlying philosophy to the actual mechanics, we really have to start with pillar 1, which is systems.
Systems. Okay, how does the text define that?
A system, as defined by the text, is a documented, repeatable process that produces a predictable outcome. Like, if you are not in the room to make a decision, the system makes the decision for you.
So you're literally programming the business logic.
Exactly. You map out a traffic system to bring in visitors, a lead capture system to convert them to subscribers, a sales system to present offers, and a delivery system to fulfill the purchase.
So instead of relying on your willpower to just wake up and hustle every day, you rely on the design of the system. But I mean, a system drawn on a whiteboard doesn't actually do any work on its own. It needs an engine to execute those instructions. Which brings us naturally to pillar 2, right? Automation.
Yes, exactly. If systems are the map, automation is the vehicle. This execution layer is where the real magic happens.
Because you aren't sitting at your laptop manually emailing a PDF every single time a payment clears.
No, absolutely not. The source breaks this down across the entire customer journey.
Yeah.
And let's just unpack the jargon here for a second for the listener.
Yeah, please do.
At the top of the funnel, the discovery phase, you utilize evergreen funnels. An evergreen funnel is simply a sales pathway that is relevant and functional year-round.
Meaning you don't need to do live launches or constant updates.
Right. A customer finds an optimized article you wrote, say 6 months ago, they click a link, and they enter your automated world.
And from there, the software just takes over. The author actually mentions utilizing a CRM, a customer relationship management tool.
Yes, crucial piece of tech.
And for you listening who might not be familiar with that term, think of a CRM as the digital brain of your business. It tracks literally every interaction a person has with your brand.
It's keeping tabs on everything.
Right. If someone downloads a free checklist from your site, the CRM notes that, tags their specific interest, and automatically triggers a sequence of pre-written emails designed to, nurture that specific lead.
And at the bottom of the funnel, you have court recovery emails that automatically ping someone if they abandon their checkout process.
So technology is carrying the workload that a human sales team normally would.
Exactly. You design that email sequence once, and it triggers, based on the buyer's behavior, an infinite number of times, totally independent of your schedule.
Okay, I want to highlight a specific pro tip the author gives here because it's incredibly practical for anyone listening who might feel a bit intimidated by setting all this up.
Oh, the part about what to automate first.
Yes. She says, start by automating the steps you repeat the most often. Things like welcome emails, product delivery, and just basic customer communication.
Those are quick wins.
Exactly. Quick wins that immediately free up your capacity for higher level strategy. You don't have to automate this massive 50-step branching email sequence on day 1. Just automate the repetitive chores first.
It's a very pragmatic approach.
Yeah.
However, you can have the most brilliant automated sequences in the world. But if your website crashes the moment 100 people click a link, or if your payment processor freezes, your whole business stops.
Which introduces pillar 3, infrastructure.
Right.
I know a lot of people refer to infrastructure as the plumbing of a business, but honestly, I think a better way to look at it is like a digital railway network. Like, you have to lay down the tracks before you can run the trains.
That's a great analogy.
And in this case, the tracks are reliable website hosting, a secure payment, and checkout stack, which is basically the software that safely processes credit cards globally and scalable content delivery networks.
So systems dictate what happens, automation dictates how it happens, but infrastructure is the physical digital track that allows the cargo to actually reach the destination.
Yes. But, okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second. We've just talked about CRM tools, checkout stacks, evergreen funnels, web hosting.
It sounds like a lot.
It sounds like a massive technical overhead for a beginner. It sounds expensive and complicated. Why not just use a third-party platform? Like, why not just sell through TikTok Shop or an Instagram storefront and let them handle the technical headaches?
I get that.
Yeah.
But relying on a third-party social media platform to handle your infrastructure is the very definition of building your house on rented land.
Oh, rented land.
Yeah. If you use their storefront, they control the customer data, they control the algorithm that decides who sees your product, and they can change their terms of service literally overnight.
Which could completely wipe out your revenue stream.
Exactly. The initial technical setup of your own independent infrastructure is the price you pay for sovereignty. You build the machine right once, so it functions as a sovereign, unseen entity indefinitely, completely immune to the whims of a social media CEO.
Wow. Okay, so we've laid the tracks, we've built the digital railway network, but what cargo are these trains actually carrying?
That's the big question.
Right. If we aren't selling our time as consultants, and we aren't selling coaching calls where we have to show our faces on Zoom, what exactly is the product flowing through this faceless business?
Well, the guide introduces a very specific product model designed perfectly for this faceless architecture. It's called MRR Digital Products.
Yeah.
And MRR stands for Master Resell Rights.
This concept fascinated me. It's positioned as the absolute engine of the faceless business. So walk me through exactly how MRR works mechanically, because on the surface, it sounds almost too simple, like I just buy a PDF and sell it.
Real. It is more sophisticated than that. To create reliable, automated income, you need offers that can be sold repeatedly with zero extra fulfillment effort on your part.
Okay, that makes sense.
So with Master Resell Rights, you purchase a digital asset. This could be a really comprehensive video course, a complex software template, or a highly detailed industry guide.
Something with real value.
Right. And you purchase the legal right to not only consume the content, but to resell it to your own audience for 100% of the profit.
So you don't have to spend 6 months developing a product, recording videos, or designing graphics.
Exactly. You acquire a proven, high-quality asset, and you just plug it straight into the automated systems and infrastructure we just discussed.
And because it's a digital product, the margins are essentially 100%. The customer consumes the digital product on their own schedule. But wait, it goes further than just you selling it, right?
Yes, it does.
Often, the MRR license allows your customers to turn around and resell it as well. It operates almost like a digital franchise model.
It does. You can bundle these products. You can set them up as recurring revenue memberships. Each new customer adds revenue, but zero additional workload. The compounding effect of automated delivery combined with those 100% profit margins is just the ultimate leverage.
Okay, I need to stop you there. Because if we follow the logic of this franchise model to its natural conclusion, we hit a massive wall.
The saturation question.
Yes. If everyone has the right to resell the exact same digital course, isn't there a huge risk of market saturation? Like if I buy a guide from you and I can resell it and my 10 customers can resell it, doesn't the value eventually just drop to zero because the internet is flooded with the exact same file?
That saturation trap absolutely destroys poorly designed businesses. And it is precisely why Chillstar '08 emphasizes infrastructure and strict legal frameworks so heavily.
Ah, okay. So how do they prevent that?
To survive and scale an MRR business, you don't just toss a file into the Wild West. You enforce a clear license and usage policy. For example, successful MRR products often come with minimum advertised price, or MAP policies.
MAP policies, got it.
Yeah, and this legally prevents resellers from undercutting each other and driving the price down to zero.
So you're basically maintaining brand standards through legal infrastructure.
Furthermore, you manage this ecosystem by utilizing dedicated affiliate or reseller portals within your software stack. When structured correctly, The true power of MRR isn't just that you get to sell a product you didn't have to create.
What is it then?
It's that your resale partners actually become your unseen distribution channels.
Oh, wow.
Right. They are incentivized to drive traffic to the product. They are expanding your reach and multiplying your sales, all without requiring any extra visibility or marketing effort from you.
So you essentially build a distributed global sales force that promotes your faceless brand.
Exactly.
That is brilliant. It literally turns your customers into your marketing department. Okay, so we understand the theory. We have our systems built, our tracks laid, and our MRR products chosen.
Yep, the foundation's there.
But how does this unseen machine actually get found by new buyers out in the wild? Like, how do we get traffic without doing TikTok dances? This brings us to the execution phase.
And the author draws a very sharp distinction here between rented attention and owned assets. We actually touched on this earlier with the infrastructure argument.
Right, the rented land concept.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you build an audience entirely on a social media platform, you are renting attention. You are totally at the mercy of their algorithm changes and content fatigue.
Because you don't actually own your followers. If an algorithm update decides your content isn't engaging today, your visibility just plummets.
Faceless marketing, on the other hand, prioritizes owned assets. This means your email list, your website domain, and evergreen search-optimized content.
Okay, so SEO.
Yes. Instead of trying to go viral by entertaining people, you use search engine optimization. You write detailed articles or create Pinterest graphics that target very specific intent-based search queries.
Like people actively looking for a solution.
Right. When someone goes to Google and types, how to automate my bookkeeping, they aren't looking for a charismatic influencer. They are looking for a solution.
And if your faceless brand provides an optimized article answering that question with a link to an MRR template that solves it, you capture that highly qualified traffic.
Exactly.
So to bring this all together for you listening, let's just walk through the exact 4-stage blueprint Chillstar '08 outlines for building this out.
Let's do it.
Stage 1 is to define your market and your product stack. You don't just sell one massive item right out of the gate. You build a ladder.
Right.
You start with entry-level resources, maybe a low-cost checklist to get people in the door. Then you move to core solutions like full programs, and finally, premium bundles featuring those master resale rights.
And then stage 2 is critical. Build the infrastructure first. Before you ever try to drive a single click of traffic from an ad or a search engine, you must set up the domain, the hosting, the secure checkout, and the delivery system.
Because every click you generate must have a designated place to land, be captured, and be nurtured.
Driving traffic without infrastructure is just like pouring water into a bucket with a hole in it.
Great analogy. Then we hit stage 3. Implement your systems and automation around the customer journey. Let's look at a hypothetical customer. Let's call her Sarah.
Yes, Sarah.
Sarah searches for budgeting template for moms. She finds your SEO optimized article. That's your discovery system. Inside the article, she downloads a free checklist in exchange for her email. That is your lead capture system.
Yep, tracking perfectly.
Your CRM immediately kicks off a 5-day automated email sequence, providing her with massive value and eventually offering your core MRR budgeting course. That's your nurture and sales system. She buys at 2 a.m. while you're fast asleep, and the product is delivered to her inbox instantly.
And that's your delivery system.
Exactly. Finally, stage 4 is where you scale that exact journey. Once you know the system actually works and converts, you pour fuel on the fire.
You scale using those faceless marketing tactics, creating more SEO content, running targeted paid ads to the top of the funnel, and activating your network of resale partners.
To send a massive, consistent stream of qualified visitors right into your fully automated ecosystem.
Right.
And there is an ultimate payoff to executing this 4-stage blueprint that, honestly, it blew my mind when I read it in the source material.
The exit strategy.
Yes. Because this entire business is completely detached from your face, your voice, and your personality. It becomes a highly transferable, sellable asset. Think about it. If you build a massive multi-million-dollar brand around your own face and your own life, you can almost never sell that business.
Because nobody can buy you.
Exactly. If you leave, the business collapses. But a faceless business, it is entirely independent of its founder. You can hire an operations manager to run it, you can license the systems, or you can sell the entire operation to an investor for a massive exit.
Because the value is baked into the automated architecture, not your charisma.
Right.
And the author actually provides her own life as a testament to this exact framework.
Mm-hmm.
Chillstar '08 uses this architectural model to fund her luxury travel business.
Which is just incredible.
She specializes in these beginner-friendly strategies to support what she calls a soft life, achieving location freedom, time freedom, and financial freedom, managing it all from her phone without ever being tied to a camera, an uploading schedule, or the demands of an audience.
It is a proven, real-world application of moving from active performance to passive management. So to bring it all home for you listening today, the core takeaway here is that you absolutely can build massive leverage and true digital freedom online.
But you have to do it strategically.
Yes. You do it by prioritizing owned assets, structured systems, and MRR digital products over chasing social media algorithms and influencer clout. You build the digital railway tracks, you set the trains in motion, and you just let the technology do the heavy lifting.
As the author beautifully puts it, it's about relying on architecture, not adrenaline.
Architecture, not adrenaline. I love that. It respects your time, it respects your privacy, and it allows you to scale an income entirely independent of your physical presence. You can finally step away from the street corner, put away the dancing shoes, and go live your actual life while the machine quietly runs in the background.
As we look at this massive shift toward automated, faceless efficiency, it really leaves us with a profound question to ponder about the broader marketplace.
Oh, what's that?
If a highly successful digital business no longer requires a human face, a personal story, or a parasocial connection to build deep trust and generate massive sales,
Yeah.
what happens to the inherent value of human connection in the future of commerce?
Wow.
As flawless, faceless systems become the standard for discovering and buying solutions, will buying from a highly visible, deeply personal, flawed human brand eventually transition from the norm into a rare luxury niche?